Hello, and welcome to the podcast of CMC Life Coach. Today's podcast is titled Stress Relief Therapy. You are what you think about. You know, there's a truth to the saying, you are what you think about. Have you ever caught yourself thinking in a negative way where one negative thought builds upon another? I have, and I have witnessed myself go from a happy state to a state of high anxiety and stress in a small space of time. I can call this a negative thought spiral, and recognizing negative thought spirals is a really good way to reduce stress in your life. Now, we're probably all familiar with negative thought spirals. Probably one of the most common would be stressing out about financial matters. Now, I know I do this. I get an unexpected bill which I just can't pay, and maybe I'm feeling relaxed, before I look at the bill, and then suddenly I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? And then I'll start thinking other things like, well, how am I going to pay my mortgage and my car payment and so on and so on. The point here is that too much negative thinking can really make you generally pessimistic, and when you combine this with the stress that you will feel in life, this will definitely reduce your levels of happiness and laughter and feeling good in your life. So what this means is we really have a need for mental stress relief, and a great way to do this is practicing the art of mindfulness. Now, mindfulness I'm going to go into in more depth in other podcasts, but right now we're going to go over a very quick and simple exercise you can do. The first question, of course, is, well, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is just being more aware of your stream of thoughts while they are occurring. A simple exercise to practice mindfulness is find a place that's somewhat quiet where you can just take a moment to be still and take a deep breath and just pause. And then as you do this, just become aware of your thoughts and don't have any strong emotional attachment to the thoughts. Just observe them. Imagine your thoughts almost like a stream of water. You're sitting by a stream, watching the water flow by, and just imagine that's just kind of like your thoughts. Don't judge your thoughts as right or wrong. Maybe you're really stressed and your thoughts are filled with frustration, anger, worry, concern, anxiety. Maybe you have some positive thoughts, something you've been enjoying lately, or something you're anticipating that you're looking forward to. If you're feeling stressed out when you do this exercise, it's likely that your thoughts will be filled with worry and concern. But don't worry about it. The point of mindfulness is just simply to become aware. Am I thinking negatively at this moment, or positively, or maybe a mix of both? It doesn't matter. You're just becoming aware of your stream of thoughts. And that's pretty much what mindfulness is. It's pretty simple. And yet the key to making it powerful and useful in your life is simply to practice it. Simply the same way that if you wanted to develop a new skill, let's take something physical like learning to hit a golf ball or playing tennis or some new sport, you know that you need to learn the basic technique of how to swing and hit the ball, and then you need to go and practice it to get good at it. Well, mindfulness is exactly the same. A very simple thing to do, but the key to making it powerful in your life and a tool that reduces your stress is to practice it during the day. It doesn't even need to be for a long time. You just simply need to begin practicing mindfulness. And as you do this, you're going to become aware of when you're thinking negatively, when you're really stressed out. And this is really important, and the reason it is important is because negative thinking has a powerful impact on us. In fact, more powerful than positive thinking. And the reason this is so is because of how our brain is wired. The more ancient parts of our brain, what they call the reptilian and mammalian brain, fire what's called our stress response. Now, this is a small little part of our brain, right in the middle of our brain, that when it perceives a potential threat, such as, say, a sudden loud noise, like the backfiring of a car, or something suddenly coming into your visual range, maybe someone runs suddenly, near you or towards you, or a sudden change in temperature. Maybe you get outside of your house and it's freezing cold outside. Any of those things will fire your stress response. And what happens then is that you will have adrenaline released into your body, your heart rate will increase, you'll be put into what they call the fight or flight response. You're going to be ready to deal with a potential threat. That's the job of the reptilian and mammalian parts of our brain. The important thing to note here is that it doesn't have to be something real and physical, like a sudden change in temperature or a sudden loud noise, to fire our stress response. A negative thought will also fire our stress response. So to go back to the earlier example of, say, you have a sudden financial situation and you're thinking about it and you're getting stressed thinking about it, you're thinking things like, how am I going to pay my mortgage, or how am I going to get my car payment done, or things of that nature, they will fire our stress response. So that will result in us feeling more anxious, more stressed. And this in turn has a negative snowball effect of you're thinking negatively about a situation. Now your stress response fires, so now you feel more anxious. Now as you feel more anxious, that kind of amplifies the concern that you have. I'm feeling anxious, I'm worried, I literally feel anxious in my body, I'm worried about my finances or whatever it is, and that makes you think about it in a more stressful way. Scientists have in fact done MRI scans as parts of studies that reveal negative thoughts release dozens of stress response hormones. The end result of this is that even a small amount of negative thinking will have a big impact on us. Negative thinking is powerful as it creates negative conditioned responses that limits our abilities to succeed in life. Now, the first step to countering negative thinking is simply to become aware of it. And the next step after that is to begin to balance negative thoughts with more positive and motivated thoughts. And this is why we call this podcast You Are What You Think About, because if you're mostly thinking negative, that's how your attitudes and your responses are generally going to be. So, becoming aware of our thinking with the practice of mindfulness is a great tool, and it's something I really encourage you to do. And the next step to reducing our stress levels is to then put motivated, positive thoughts into our thinking. And that's going to be the subject of the next podcast. So I want to thank you for listening, and you can check out more free resources, blog articles, podcasts on my website, lifecoach-charlesmc.com.